Hi everyone. Had to get rid of some of that glare. Uh, Today I just wanted to kind of get out here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have time later. I might make another one today. I'm not really sure. But I'm not sure how well my connection's gonna be today. Apparently I'm not supposed to be making these videos. They're incriminating. And good luck on that one. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Constitution, Bill of Rights. So that's going to be in a little bit. I've got a patent number to kind of throw out there so you guys can look that up, get some information on how the program works. That's one of the best things you can do. I know the wording is completely crazy and it's meant to confuse people unless you're in the program. So like a neural programmer, that's what they call themselves to me. I don't think if they even talk to you like that. But there's other questions and stuff I'd like to ask. Just to kind of start out, does anybody ever out there look to stop this? I know that's what you're now is trying to figure out how to stop it within yourself, but like how to stop the program in general, like lawsuits or uh, getting rid of this program in general. If we stand together, it could possibly happen. So, I mean, if I could just ask people, do some research on like different lawyers, different lawsuits that we can uphold and prosecute with. And then when you do that, message me or something, and I'll do as much as I can as well. I'm trying to do that in the process now. I'm waiting for emails back and phone calls back from people in my area that do that. I was trying to find the website that I was on, but apparently the web browser and the Onion browser that I use, it erases everything that I look. So I have a little thought about that. Have you ever thought of like DuckDuckGo or something like that? Something that's supposed to make it like a incognito. Do you think that they just send it all to an organization and they sift through what you don't want people to see? You know what I mean? Like Google's like pretty much you can look up your history at any time. Anybody can. Like DuckDuckGo or something like that. Like I use with an Onion browser. Um, it's I kind of almost feel like all the information sent to an agency or something like that because they see it as like, oh, what are they trying to hide? You know. And that's just a thought. I wouldn't necessarily call it paranoid. It's just you should be aware of your surroundings and what you're doing and the possibilities. Look at every possibility. BrainBit. I was watching a video last night, and there's this like, it's called BrainBit.com, and it's this little headset that you wear, and it's supposed to enhance your sleep. It's supposed to do all these things and all that kind of stuff. It's almost like signing up for the program. You know what I mean? In a voluntary way, and I just thought that was kind of weird. Look it up. It's pretty out there. I figure this time of our life and the way things are advancing, this type of technology is going to be coming out and it's going to be more advanced. And you got to think about what they show us is just. I always like to use an iceberg as an analogy. The tip of the iceberg. What else do they have that they're not showing the public? This kind of stuff. Remote neural monitoring. I call it mental warfare, mental terrorism. It's against the Constitution. I think we have rights, and this is personal property. And they can't just take it without a warrant or some kind of seizure of that you broke the law or something like that. The law is supposed to do it for us. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have to be going behind our backs and taking our consciousness from us pretty much and depriving us of sleep and programming us in our sleep and stuff like that. You ever notice like songs that get stuck in your head? Uh, I can hear a song and it just gets stuck and it gets repeated, 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 and I don't want to sing it anymore. And it stays, and I'll stop right in the middle of it and say fuck you, fuck you, fuck, or excuse my language. Um, I'll just say something else, and I'll hear them still singing it, and then someone will go, "He's not singing anymore," and they'll be like, "Gosh dang it, Steve changed the words." That's I guess that's what I'm known for, is changing the words, and they're always constantly trying to battle me with the trigger phrases, like "you are the," he is the, says people's names that I know, says that you're under investigation. Well, that's all interaction, I think. Well, just in the under investigation part, that's interaction. You know what I mean? Why would they tell me that? Unless it's just a trigger. And it's not a trigger to me because I don't care. I didn't do anything wrong, and what they talk about is it's stupid. It's not even plausible. Um, I've noticed that they always like run me through like little things in my dreams. They always end up being a character in my dream and speaking to me, and they put me through situations, and my decisions are judged during the day. Like if I make the wrong decision in a dream, they try to pick at me with it all day, and I don't know if it's because I can remember my dreams and they're just using that now because they have nothing else. Um, but they make it, you know, a way to for you to make a bad decision, and that's pretty much what they do, is they just want you to make bad decisions, so they have a way to harass you. Um, so last night I was focusing on my energy, and I could realize that there's like a foreign energy running through my body, and when the ringing starts, it it gets worse, and I see out of my peripherals the light will start flickering, and sometimes my videos get messed up and stuff. That's the signal coming in and affecting the things around us. Pay attention to that. Some people would just be like, "Oh, it's just your peripherals or whatever." Well, it happens all the time, and I've got decent vision. I mean, I kind of got one eye that kind of goes out to the side sometimes, but or maybe it's this one. I don't know, but I could see it when I watch a video or something. Um, I proof watch my videos after I do it just to see the vibe and all that kind of stuff, and I try not to repeat information. It's really hard not to, because we're badgered with the same repeated sentences and trigger words all day, every day, that it's hard not to repeat stuff. So they always tell me to go outside and smoke, even though they hate cigarettes. With me, they hate cigarettes, and I love cigarettes. That's what I do to think, or tobacco. And see, right now the light's flickering. That's probably because they're wanting to listen to the video. But last night they were saying, just go outside and smoke. Just go outside. Just go outside. It's because the signal gets to me louder outside. When somebody gets a little upset or something and they yell, it sounds like they're literally like across the field or something, and they're yelling. And that's why they want me to go outside. They use windows and all that kind of stuff where your cell phone signals come in, cell phone towers. I know where I live, I'm in the middle of nowhere, but there is a freaking 5G cell phone tower every like mile, if not less. And there is so many that that's why I wear my EMF beanie that I forgot to put on today, but it doesn't matter. They still, it still comes in through. So let's see. I was trying to match the voices to people in the areas that they said that they found me in. Uh, 1 minute they'll claim I'm on a list and that I am being watched or whatever, or monitored. But then another second they will say that I was just picked, that someone just found me, and that's why I'm on the list. Always trying to. Their main thing is incriminating me for some reason. It's not a worry in my mind. I'll tell you that much. It's not a worry, but they continue to use it. I think it's just a cover up because they know that I read the fact that this program is for finding criminals, and it's just a cover up. Obviously, after they sit there and admit that I shouldn't be on it or in it, and but yet they'll still leave it on because I'm not very nice to them. What does my personality have anything to do with being a freaking criminal? I'm not, and I am rude to them, but that shouldn't make any difference on why I'm on the program or in it. Um, so that's kind of a question that I'd like answered, but they won't answer me because every time I ask them a question, no interaction, no interaction. But then they'll interact 5 minutes later, and then tell each other, no interaction. Oh dang it, he gets me every time. Now I think it's just starting to be a trigger. And know your triggers. I This isn't this what I'm about to say isn't something that I believe. It's the closest voice I could match. But Brown in Portland, if you know that person, it's like a governor or something like that. That was the closest voice I can get to the female. And when I said that, she freaked out. She's like, oh my gosh. And then, a couple days later, they tried saying, "Oh, he thinks it's her. It's not really her, or whatever." And I really don't know. I don't have any proof. But it sounds like the name, and she goes by the name Lisa in my mind. Um, but I said something out loud, out of character, and it had cuss words in it and everything. And the Lisa character didn't say every word because she didn't want to repeat what I said, and it was something pretty bad. And this is how I test them. If it was an AI gathering algorithm, it would have said it no problem, no problem, and it would have filed it and picked all the algorithm words and all that kind of stuff. But she didn't. So that tells me that she was actually human at that point, and they were actually monitoring at that point. And when that happens, that's when you start tricking them. Do your Jedi mind tricks, all the little tricks that I put in my videos on picking words and playing games and all that kind of stuff, just to get them to interact. um, um, my dog, he's a hairless Jack Russell, and he he likes to he pretty much doesn't have any teeth. He's pretty old, and he likes to snarl at the other dog. So if you hear that, it's nothing big. It's just him talking, pretty much. Um, Last night I was watching one of my videos, Dream State, and it has Mesopotamian type stuff in it, and they claim they were Mesopotamian again. And when I woke up this morning, they claimed the guy I called Trigger that he got fired for claiming that he was going to abduct my child and stuff. He's still there. 5 minutes later, I tricked him saying, "Hey, Trigger, blah 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 blah," and he answered, and I was like, "See, you're not fired. You're still there." And he's like, "Dang it, well, he got me again." You know what I mean? It's just answer or ask him questions. That's what I do, and be confident. Um, they use us like puppets. It's like we're on strings, and then they're trying to do this and cut your strings. Be that Pinocchio. Turn into a real boy or a real girl. Um, I've noticed that when I watch my videos, or even just look at them, there's other lists of videos that pop up that are like mine, and it just always seems like they're government videos, and I don't know why, but what does that tell me? Maybe they're part of it. Maybe they I don't know. Maybe it's just in the same category. I'm not really sure. I haven't put that piece to the puzzle yet, but I wrote it down because I thought it was very interesting. Um, and another little thing last night, I was eating some Pringles, and this authority figure that they always throw in came up, and he's like, "Let me see through his eyes." And so he obviously put the helmet on, or however they do that, the VR or whatever. And I ate a Pringle, right? And she goes, "He's about to eat a Pringle." I eat one, and make like I'm shooting him in the head, like you know what I mean? Like, gosh dang it, just leave me alone. And he's like, okay, and then before he could even finish, I interrupted him and called him a name. Um, don't give them any time to speak or trigger. When they start to say something, completely go off the wall and say something completely different. It puts them in their tracks, and they can't trigger you when you're thinking of something that fluent. You know what I mean? So don't sit there and listen. Just speak your mind. And that slows them down, and they get less progress. Um, Mention that you know about the no interaction contract. There's a contract apparently that where they can't interact with us. They're not supposed to tell us personal things and all that kind of stuff. So get them to do something personal, say something personal, or how they feel, and then tell them, hey, there's no interaction. You just broke your contract, and see what they say. That might just stop them in their tracks too. It did with me, and I use that against them all the time, every day, probably 100 times a day. This never stops. It's 24/7. So I call those Jedi mind tricks as well. It's like I said, it's against our constitutional rights. So before I get into that, I wanted to see if somebody could look up some maybe names or possible people that are in the or remote neural monitoring program. Find some programmers, find their names and maybe an email address, and maybe we can start addressing them personally. Not being mean or rude or offensive or threatening, but just let them know that we know who they are, and we plan on taking action. So another thing is look up nanotechnology. They're getting pretty small. It's microscopic. They can be absorbed through an eye, an orifice, through your skin or skins, through your skin. You can breathe it in, you can drink it, you can eat it, and you won't even know it's there. When I was in Portland, I was going home, and the protest was going on, the BLM protest, and I couldn't get home. The cops were telling me, go that way, go this way, go that way, but they would always tell me to go the opposite direction. And what they were doing is they were keeping me in it. And I got tear gassed and maced and all that kind of stuff multiple times trying to get home. Like I said, if I were to go to that, it would just be to observe. I wouldn't be doing anything, I'd be standing back watching, and that'd be it. Watching people's behaviors and all that kind of stuff. And I did do that at one time. Tried to blend in and just kind of watch, and I was watching all the influencers throwing stuff, and they were all wearing the same thing. They were all wearing black and yelling and screaming and throwing stuff, starting fires. They were influencing everybody else to make actions. And this causes people to get normalized to that action and do something even worse. And this is what they want. It's a civil war within the country. They want us to fight each other first. And now it's a war within ourselves. And that's the worst civil war of all. It's within yourself. You're fighting yourself. You're fighting your subconscious. You're fighting your conscious. Your yes and no, your good and bad, all your judgment inside that you don't normally hear. You just make a decision, but now you're hearing it. And that's a problem. If you don't know that's what's going on, it could be very confusing and make you paranoid. Pay attention to the unwanted or odd reactions, feeling a picture in your mind that is innocent, or picture something in your mind that's innocent, and make your heart jump and listen to their reaction. They're going to reply to it. They're going to try to use it. Again, this is a very dangerous thing to do because they won't stop, and they will think that it bothers you. You're going to have to counteract with no heart rate. And once you attach a heart rate to it, it's kind of hard to take it away. But it's practice, it's practice, and we got to practice every day, or they're going to get even better. They're experts, and we're newbies. So it's good to do your research and control yourself. Um, I've got a patent number that can explain some stuff, and it'll lead you to other patents and then a list at the bottom and all this kind of stuff. I've done it once before, but this is a different one. It's patent number 3951134. It'll take you to Google Patents, and it's going to tell you how this part of the program works, what this patent does, and it will lead you to a bunch of other ones as well. Just do some research, read through it. Again, it's going to be confusing, but just try to interpret it the best you can. Excuse me. The Constitution, Bill of Rights. There's a couple things in here I'd like to talk about. I'm not going to read them all. But the first one, of course, is Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. That is one thing that they try to pick on me about, is my religion, and telling me that it's incriminating, and they call it seances and stuff, and lighting a candle is not seance. Other religions do it as well. Just because I have a crystal in front of me, I mean, come on. Or that I wear a moldavite, I mean, that's what they're going off of. That I offer ceremonial tobacco, and that's a Native American type thing. I'm partial Native American. It goes way back, but that's where they found me, was on a reservation. No religion, or prohibiting the free exercise, therefore, or obliging the freedom of speech. And that's what this is. This is freedom of speech. And so if they try to take me down for this, the First Amendment will help me. Or of the press, or the right of the people, peaceable to assemble on the petition, the government for the readdress of grievance. So if they do anything, I have the right to grieve, for grief, or file a suit back, and sue them for that, because this is the Constitution, unless it's a joke. I heard that quite a few times by quite a few people that, and I've noticed that just a few executive orders and the Constitution can be rewritten. And if you notice, every president is rewriting executive orders, or not rewriting, but they're writing more and more and more. And as soon as they declare state of emergency, it's over. All your rights are taken away. You are literally theirs at that point. They can shut your cars down with the chips. They can take your money away, your jobs, and maybe that's what the virus is going to do. Maybe it'll cause a state of emergency and keep us in our homes and take everything away from us. The second one, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It doesn't always have to be guns. My words are weapons. So a lot of the times the things I say cut to the bone. And that's just who I am. That's how I speak. And that's probably why I don't have very many friends. So, number 3, no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered to any house within the concept of the owner, nor in the time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. That one doesn't really go with it. I don't know why I wrote it down. I started to write them all down, and I was like, this some of these just aren't really speakable in this. So, number 4, must have warrants and probable cause to seize a person's personal items supported by the oath of affirmation. So that's our mind. You know what I mean? That's our personal items, our personal property. How can they take this from us without any probable cause? And just because they think their opinion means that you are a criminal doesn't mean that they can do this to us. And if you did do something wrong, like I have in the past, we are prosecuted in the courtroom, not in our minds. This is mental warfare. This is mental terrorism. For all we know, it's not our country. Maybe it's another freaking country. I don't know. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of this. and at one point I will. I've seen a lot of lawsuits that have been done and prosecuted, saying that this is illegal, that this is going against our human rights, and that's what we need to start focusing on. Instead of letting them do this to us and just looking it up on YouTube and stuff like that, we really need to start taking action and stopping this program. It's very, very not healthy. It's not healthy for anybody, and they're causing self harm. They're building bad people. I've noticed that they don't stop until they get a reaction that they like. And if it's a positive one, they'll continue to trigger. They'll continue to trigger until you say something negative, and that's what they go off of. And then they use that, and then they'll continue. Number 5, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arise in the land of naval forces or in the militia, then or when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're using our minds against us, and they can't do that. Also, the same offense twice. They can't prosecute you for the same thing twice. That's illegal. So if you got in trouble and you went to the court and you're paying for it that way with your fines and your jail time or whatever it is, they can't be doing this to us also, especially without consent. This is bullshit. And excuse my language, but it's true. It's bullshit. Nor be deprived of life, liberty. And that's what this is. They're depriving us of sleep. They're depriving us of our good feelings. They're making us feel bad. They're depriving us of our liberty or property without due process of law. Property. This is our property. Nobody can take that from us. And they're taking it from us. How is this legal? Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. I'm sure they're using this for public use. They're probably using this for research for another product or possible future VR. I know Facebook is about to change into VR. It's gonna be like a new life for everybody, where you can go in and like create this new life called VR, and it feels real, like it's there in front of you. In all criminal, this is 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy trial and public trial. So this isn't public. This isn't speedy. This is long-term harassment. And I've seen people say that they've been on it for 13 years, 5 years. I've been on it for a year and more. This is ridiculous. This is against the Constitution completely. So many infringe exactly what they're doing. This is not right. We have the right to fight back, and it's not illegal. So don't let them say, oh, you're incriminating yourself by doing this. Who's incriminating themselves? They are. No cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. That's number 8. And this is cruel and unusual. Who knows? Who thinks this is normal? They're labeling us as schizophrenic. How is that normal? This is cruel. They're sleep depriving us. They're making us feel like we're bad people when we're not. If it wasn't for me paying attention all the time, I would think I was a bad person. I may have made bad mistakes or something by now, but I haven't, because I've been paying attention to them, and I call them out on everything. There's days where I don't even let them talk. I'll drink a bunch of coffee, and I will just tell them how it's against the Constitution. I just keep going and going and going and going, and they'll be like, "Can you believe this guy? Listen to him." That's all they can say. They don't have time to trigger. I mean, it doesn't really give me enough content to tell you guys what happened for the day, but it's better than being triggered. So if I don't make a video in a day, I'll try to find other stuff to talk about. Uh, Start your own blog. You know, start talking about your experience. I'll subscribe. I'll watch your stuff. I got a couple subscribers just last night. I think it's 6 now or something like that, which is fine. I'm not looking for that. I just want my videos to be watched because I want the word to get out. And I know in my beginning videos I said don't do that, don't recognize me or whatever. But now, because I wasn't sure if it was or not, but now that I looked up all the laws and all that kind of stuff, do it. Make it viral. I don't care. I'll end up on 60 Minutes talking everybody's ear off. You know what I mean? So I wanted to share a couple things. When this first started, and when they first found me, I was in California. They said it was in Portland, and then California, and then Portland again, and then California, and then Portland again, California. You know, it's on the West Coast somewhere. And like I've said before, Portland, Oregon, Chinatown, they have one over there. Bay Area, I think it's Sacramento. I'm not really sure, but it's Bay Area, California. And then there's another one in Washington on the West Coast. Those are 3 stations, 3 areas that they have offices and stuff like that. So maybe look that up. Get an exact address and send it to me. Letters. I'll type a nice letter up, a nice one too, and telling all the laws they're breaking, and how that I'm going to start I probably won't tell them I'm going to start a suit because I want that to be a surprise. But with it being in my head and them listening, it's not really that much of a surprise. But you know, I'd rather do it versus sending them a written physical letter warning them. But before I even knew that I was being picked on this program, I drew this picture, and I don't know why I drew it. I didn't really believe in Mesopotamians or the Eye of Horus or anything like that, or pyramids or that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was always looking up aliens, stuff like that, because I've always looked up in the sky at night and seen stuff just go, you know, especially in the Shasta Mountains. You know, that's very, very known for it. So this is the picture. And if you think about it, the way I see it now after it's been, you know, a few 5-10 years or whatever, here's Earth. These are spaceships. I was just messing around too. I don't know what that one is. I don't Mothership or maybe a Dyson Sphere or something like that. I have no idea. Light spectrum. You know, the lights that we don't see, the light spectrum that we don't see. This is just the Earth, and they call it the game of life. So like they play us like a video game. This is the DNA, the double helix. But if you look right here, it's, you know, this is, I don't know why I drew this, but now that I think about it, in my head, when they say picture yourself, I picture myself like floating and like flowers being growing underneath me as I pass. That one fairy woman or whatever, wherever she goes, she grows plants. Just a freaking movie. This is the Eye of Horus, and I don't know why I drew that. There's the sun. It's our eye. It's the main one. And this is a broken pyramid. I don't really know, but it just has so much more meaning now than it did when I drew it. When I drew this one, it was just to draw a lizard, you know. And the more I look at it, the more it just kind of reminds me of them. And I'm not saying that they're like reptilians or shapeshifters or anything like that whatsoever. But it's just wicked. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't seem It just seems like that's the type they are. And it just, for some reason, it just, every time I look at it, and I'm like, man, that's you guys, just some wicked, wicked thing, So I just wanted to share those two. Oh yeah, this one. The other night I was drawing. I was really tired. I was ready to go to bed and everything, but I wanted to draw a chakra, like build my own. I started to draw it, and it like turned into this weird, kind of like the same thing that is, or some people would say Illuminati or whatever. But it just kind of reminds me of it. But this is what I ended up drawing, male and female. Just messing around, but it's like mirror image. And it kind of reminds me of that first picture I showed you. It was just random. And on the back, this was the day that I wrote down all their triggers, death threats, and all that kind of stuff. And I would check off every time that they would use them. And then I started seeing a pattern. And then so I started being able to predict what they were going to say next. And then I would say it, and they'd be like, oh, he knows his triggers. We can't do this. We can't get anywhere with him. So I advise doing that, write down everything that you hear, and then read it and see a pattern. And then maybe you can start predicting what they say versus they predict what you're going to say. Run an algorithm on them. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things I could talk about. I was going to say a poem as well, but I think I might save that. It's just not the greatest. And I got a bunch of dreams written down. In the beginning, they all started as like post-apocalyptic. Everything's messed up. Everybody's living in close quarters. There's a lot of guards everywhere. People are being moved around by bus. Nobody had their own personal cars. I tried to get away on a bicycle once. I couldn't do it. It was almost like I got to in the end of a simulation, and then it started over, or I would be on the same street again. And or I'd drive a car and it would do the same thing, and I'd end up in the same place. And that just kind of tells me that. And if you look at the patents, they talk about being able to simulate your dreams and program you with your dreams. And that's no lie. They mess with your dreams. And this is one way to influence you. And I believe that that's what they were doing, was when I started really remembering my dreams, because I didn't normally remember my dreams as well as I do now. And I think that was another step. That was like one of the next steps that they were doing after I was pre-programmed in some way. Now they're using my own voice. They're using my own voice while I sleep. And I figured that out not last night, but the night before. I heard him talking. It was me. And it was in my mind, obviously. And I stopped him and I was like, I'm not saying those things. How do you get me to say that? And it's because they program the voice into a computer or whatever, and then they run these trigger words and trigger situations and conditioning words and influencing words. So your brain trusts the message. And when your brain hears your voice, your brain allows it. And because I won't allow them to be in my brain and I shove them out, they had to get my voice. And apparently they have to say a certain set of words and hit certain pitches. Well, I sing all the time. So they got the pitches. And just the other day they were saying, he hasn't said all the words yet. We can't do it. And then one night I was reading something where I repeated what they said, and they tricked me. They got me to say the rest of the words. And that's when I started hearing it. And I didn't realize it until I started hearing it. I was like, oh, damn. You got me on that one. So now I've got to watch out when I sleep. And that's ridiculous. We shouldn't have to watch out when we sleep. We should be able to sleep at night without any interruptions. This is ridiculous. This is terrorism. So, like, this whole time they've been telling me, stop, say my name, stop, stop. You need to stop. Just stop this. And it's more like, say it back. You know, you need to stop this. You need to leave me alone. You need to get out of my head. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what I do with them. And then I'll call them names and repeat stuff. And like I said, I like to freestyle, so I'll freestyle a few words and make fun of them in it. And that's pretty much how I get through my day. And then when I trick them, I write it down. Every time they interact, I write it down. Sometimes I'll just start writing everything down, and that annoys the crap out of them. You know, they're like, "God, why does he write everything down? I hate that." Well, it's just to show what they're doing in their program. So when it does come to court day or whatever, I have all of this interaction. I have all of this proof that they were saying these things, and I will subpoena my file. I'll subpoena the information that they have withheld from me or gathered from me through the entire process, and I'll compare it. And the constants will be there. There will be certain situations that match. And I may have misinterpreted a couple lines or something like that, but that doesn't matter. The majority of it will match, and that's what matters. Dang, I wasn't really trying to make an hour video, but it's so easy to talk for an hour. So I think I'm gonna go now. I gotta do some stuff. It's Sunday, so I hope certain stores are open. I gotta go fix a part of my car before it gets too cold. So yeah, just kind of take some of the advice. Just look for lawyers. Look for programmers. If you find anything, let me know. I'm looking too. So two heads are better than one. 10 heads are better than two. You know, or whatever. It's just concept. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. Hope everybody has a really good day. I'm Rickles. Namaste.